Hi, I'm Doug Brown, and I want you to get ready to improve your softball swing. I'm going to take a few cuts here and get good and loose. While you at home, I want you to be prepared to improve the power in your softball swing. During this time, I'm supposed to tell you about all the accomplishments and awards I've obtained while playing in the Super Division, and I've got a few. But I don't want to impress you with awards. I want to teach you the part that I've had the most success with, power hitting. Slow pitch softball is one of the most widely played team sports in America, and hitting home runs is the most sought-after component in competitive play. I've conducted instructional clinics in different parts of the U.S., and I've learned that the basics shown in this tape are very effective in increasing power and consistency in the slow pitch swing. So sit back, get comfortable, and forget all you've learned before now about hitting home runs. And I'll do my best to show you the simplest but most effective way to hit longer home runs with the consistency that you're looking for. And if it sounds like I'm partial to my product sponsors, that's because I am. My success is a direct result of the equipment I use. TPS, or Tournament Players Series by H&B, the Dudley Thunder, AJD Caps, and Twin Cities Footwear are not just the products I use, but the equipment I choose. So, now that I've got your attention, here we go. One more, Mike. Okay, I'm good and loose now. First thing I'd like to talk with you about is your choice of product. I recommend and I use these products. I use the TPS by Louisville Slugger, which I feel is the best bat on the market today. I also endorse Twin Cities, Dudley, Spalding Worldwide, which makes the Thunder. I also endorse AJD Caps, Cap of Champions. I don't endorse these just for the sake of this video. These are the products that I actually use. These are the products that I use for the Super Division, which I play in, and I feel like that they'll be helpful to you because you want to ensure that you have the proper equipment. Okay, let's get started. First thing that I want to touch on, which is the beginning of your softball swing, is your stance in the box. For you SSA pitching, I stand a little further toward the front of the box. The reason for that is because the arc is a little lower. It's 3 to 10. So I don't want to be caught trying to hit pitches that are down in the strike zone because I'm too far back in the box to reach them. ASA is a little deeper. The arc is from 6 to 12. So it will fall a little deeper. Therefore, I would move back in the box just a little bit more. What this does is to make sure that the pitch falls somewhere in my strike zone. Preferably, I like to pitch between my thighs and my chest area. This strike zone is comfortable for me as a right-hand hitter. My power zone is to left field. That way, I'm able to extend and get the head of my bat out on these pitches and make them with their flight to left field. That's where my power will be. It's not the center. A lot of people do stand a little further off the plate, whereas I stand a little closer and I want my power to go toward left field. So with USSSA, I'm going to stand a little further up in the box so that these pitches, which will be strikes to me, will fall between my thigh and my chest. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is my grip. The rules of softball state that you can only have a bat that is 34 inches long. What I want to try to do is make sure that if I can make this bat longer by putting it in the heel of my hand here. And what that does, it gives me both leverage and lengthens my bat. This adds power. As you'll see in a moment when I show you how to swing, or how I swing, you'll see that this length adds leverage and gives you more power. So my grip, my left hand, I'll cup the end of the bat, letting my little finger hang off the end. And then I align my knuckles with the middle part between the two knuckles on my left hand. A lot of people today are lining their knuckles with those fingers. If you're comfortable with that, that's fine. That's not the way that I would recommend it. The reason being, I'm not comfortable there. I lose bat control from here. Trying to turn the bat over from this position, my top hand does not have as much strength, and I'm not as comfortable with that. So what I want to try to do is I want to line my knuckles up within the middle of these knuckles here. That gives me control of the bat, and I'm still able to turn the bat over while I'm in the swing process. Okay, so we've touched on our place in the box, which is approximately 5-6 inches behind the point of the plate, preferably a little close with an open stance so that I can stride toward left field, and my grip is such that when I'm in the process of my swing, I can both have control of my bat and turn my hands over out in front where I need to be making contact. All right, so we're all set to swing. We've talked about our grip, we've talked about our stance. Now we're going to start with the swing. A lot of you are wondering, I'm only so large, I can't produce as much power as you. I'm not as large. Well, first thing, let me tell you that bat speed is not produced so much by size as it is by strength. A lot of people are compensating lack of strength by lighter bats, which I recommend this only to a point. Sometimes you get a bat so light that when you do make contact, my theory of hitting is to drive through the pitch. Well, if you've got a light bat, the ball will sort of recoil and move the bat back if it's too light. It'd be sort of like trying to hit a bowling ball with maybe a broomstick. So what you want to try to do is get a bat that is heavy enough when you make good contact in the sweet spot, the bat will power through the softball. Okay. So now we're ready with our equipment and we're ready to start our swing. We've got our bat, which we feel is proportionally weighted to us. And what we want to try to do now is go to the basics so that when you ask this question, I'm not as large as you, how can I hit the ball further? How can I hit it far if I'm not as large as you? So here we go. I'm going to show you. I've got my place in the box. I stand with my feet just about shoulder width apart. This ensures me that I'm able to stride when I need to, not a step like this, but instead a stride, where it's just a movement forward. If you'll notice, it initiated right away my trunk. This is the second step. This is the basis for your hitting with power or increasing your power. Your stride and automatically your hips should follow in place. All right, so we're here. We start our stride, which is here, and our trunk turns. Now this trunk turn, this is not just a movement slow with your swing. It's not timed with your swing. Instead, what it is, it's a stride and an explosion. It's a turn that when you start your trunk turn forward, it is so severe that automatically your arms is going to start. I'll demonstrate what I mean in just a second. Remember, our stride initiates our trunk initiates our bat forward. I'm going to run through a couple dry runs to show you what I'm talking about so that you'll see the position that I'm in when I begin to swing. I'm at rest, my stride, my trunk, and my turn. My swing starts. Okay? So I've got my stride here, my trunk turn, which is an explosion, and my bat starts forward. Okay. You're going to develop more and more power out of your trunk turn as you learn to use it more. Remember, if you have a closed stance, from here, I'm not able to turn my trunk. I'm not able to get any of my lower body into it, so chances are my bat speed's not going to be very much once I get past right here. Well, as you can see, from here, if my swing is here, my power zone is to here. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. the first thing that's going to happen is you're not going to have any bat speed when you get to the ball. You don't want to be taking the pitch off the ground or back in here where it's so low. You want to be hitting it out in front. So what I encourage you to do is to open your stance, stride away from your pitcher, just a tad towards short, and explode those hips forward. Automatically that bat head will follow, and that brings us to the most important part of hitting. There are so many people that make bat contact in so many different places. This is probably the biggest problem people have when they make outs. Their problem is they start their bat forward either too late, or they initiate the rest of their swing late, and what it does, it gets them out in front, their bat behind, they end up tying themselves up. So what I want to try to do is, my initiation with my stride is make it 1, 2, 3. It's like my stride, my initiation of my trunk explosion, and my bat follows, and it's so quick, and it should be in a place that when you make that swing in front, you're making contact in front of the plate with all your explosion out here in front. You're going to be amazed. There's so many people that says, I've been asked so many questions when I've been out on the road. They've asked me about clinics that I've done. I've done clinics as far as Los Angeles, California, as far south as Florida. The first question they ask is, how do I hit the ball further than I hit it? Or how do you hit the ball so far? Things of this nature. Well, it's easy to stand there and say, I hit it a long way because I'm big. If I wasn't big and I had any strength at all, I could still hit the ball a long way. I'm not going to try to fool you. Certainly size and strength is a factor in hitting the ball a long way. But more importantly, it's the bat speed and getting this explosion. So what I want to try to do is, as a hitter, to tell people, how do I get that extra power? How do I get that extra distance? And this, again, is the most important key. It's where I make contact with the pitch. If I make contact with the pitch anywhere in this area, I'm using about 40 or less % of my swing. My bat is at rest here. If I start my swing forward and I'm late and I make contact back in here, you can see pretty much how I'm tied up. Sometimes people try to make the adjustment by pulling out. All that does, if you'll notice when you hit some balls, they may tail. They go back, break away from you, the way that, toward the outfield, the way that you've hit them. That's a sure sign that you're cutting the ball. You're not getting that bat hit out in front where the bat velocity is great. So what I want to try to do is get my bat head out in front, start my stride, my trunk turn, which is my explosion, and make contact out here in front. Now what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to demonstrate a few, and I'm going to do it like I would tell you to do. I'm going to take a few pitches. I'm not even going to try to hit them full speed. I'm going to take about a half a swing, and I'm going to try to drive them down towards shortstop. What this does, it gets my motion initiated and gets my eye and my coordination in this direction to where I'm making contact out in front, and I'm placing the ball toward my power zone. So here we go. I'm going to try just a few swings, and what you're going to see is you're going to see my point of contact, my hip as I turn, and of course my stride, and my bat as I come through. I'm going to make contact in front of the plate. All right, here we go. Mike. Chances are I'm not going to swing at this pitch that he just threw me. The reason is it's a good example. It makes me look a little funny, but it's a good example to show you of what you should not do. That pitch was so high and it never came down. It was a USSSA pitcher, and that's what the pitcher is trying to get you to do, is a swing at his pitch. Naturally, someone in my position, they don't want to give me a whole lot to hit. In certain situations, And the reason is, if he throws me a strike, I can put my best swing on it. If he throws me a pitch that's just borderline strike, I'm not going to put as good a swing on it. So what I end up doing, as I'm concentrating, I want to try to make sure that this pitch is going to fall within my strike zone. So here we go again. Again, that pitch was deep. Throw the ones in the other bag there, Mike. Now, I know you can't see how far these balls are going, some of them, but believe me, I'm satisfied with what I'm trying to do. I'm making contact out in front. I'm starting my stride, initiating my hips to where I'm getting that explosion, and I'm making contact in front of the plate. I'm going to try it again, and what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to stand erect. I'm going to go through it in slow motion, or I'm going to do it a little slower and talk my way through it so that you'll see what I'm talking about. Start my slide, just a second. Start my stride here, then my truck turn begins almost immediately with my plant, and my explosion begins. So here we go. It's here, here, and here. All right, Co, throw me another one, Mike, please. Again, don't try to swing at pitches that you can't hit. Mike is a pitcher, and the best of pitchers don't always throw strikes, so don't get in the habit of swinging at any pitch a pitcher throws. Make sure that you're working with someone that they can recognize where you like the pitch, and when you're working, trying to fine-tune your technique, you want to work on those pitches. You want to swing at the type pitches that you know you can fine-tune your swing, and you can make sure that it's a response rather than an action. All right, here we go. Now in this slow motion footage, we're going to show you the three basic parts of the swing that we've been talking about. First, you'll see the stride. It's not a step, but just a slow stride forward, followed by the trunk turn. Then you'll see the bat explode out in front where our point of contact should be. This next slow motion footage, we're going to stop at the three basic points. First, you'll see the stride. And there's our plant. Next, you'll see the trunk turn. It'll follow immediately. There, our hips are open, and our explosion with our bat begins. And there's our point of contact, out in front of the plate with our follow-through. Now we're going to show it one more time in its entirety so that you can observe. All right. Hopefully you can see what I'm trying to do. Most of you are going to have questions. You're going to say, well, I do this and I do that. And believe me when I tell you, I've been asked so many questions by people who have seen me hit and other hitters have been asked, what is the best way to alleviate this problem? What is the best way to ensure that I make good contact out in front? Believe me when I tell you, you need to go back to the basics, which is where I stand in the box, my stride, which is here. It's not a step. You don't lean forward. It's a stride, which initiates my trunk turn, which initiates my swing. And what that does is I make contact out in front with all these things working for me. The result is you're going to hit the ball further. Now, I know it seems like you're watching this, you're going to go out and you're going to try to do it. Video cameras are a helpful aid. You can get out there and you can see what your problems are. The thing about it is, if you work on your swing, it is going to improve, and there's a few small things that you could do to help. When that happens, you can get someone that knows a little bit about the swing, and maybe they can watch you. Or you can film yourself, and maybe you can see the problems that maybe you're messing up on. The most important things are the basics, what I've showed you, 3 points, the stride, the trunk turn, making contact out in front. Making contact out in front is the largest problem that I've seen. It's for me to say that it is the worst problem in softball. Maybe not. But people that are trying to hit the ball with power, hitting the ball out in front where their bat speed is at its greatest, that is the biggest key to hitting the ball with power or out of the park. So if I'm making contact here, my bat speed is approximately 40 to 50%. I'm not going to gain any more momentum by swinging here and trying to drive through it, because the ball remains on the bat for just a fraction of a second. So what I want to try to do is make contact where my bat speed is at its greatest, which is out in front. It increases so much to here. Once it's here, it really explodes forward. Well, that's where I want to make contact. This is where you will get the biggest advantage when you're hitting, trying to improve, is by making contact out in front. If you'll notice, sometimes when you're hitting, someone throws you a low pitch and you swing at it and you hit it a mile, and you get back out of the box and you say, well, that pitch wasn't even a strike. How did I manage to hit that low pitch so far? Well, if you think about it, to even make contact with a low pitch, you had to make contact so far out in front, you wouldn't have touched it. Had you not, it would have hit the ground. So to even make contact at all, you had to really swing down and at it here. And what that does is it makes you hit the ball out in front. You're getting it on the good of the bat, so you're hitting the ball with a lot of bat velocity. That's basically the same thing you'll be doing when you're hitting this pitch. The difference is you're going to be initiating it out in front. Now, it's going to be hard to do. I've worked at this for a long time. I've probably only gotten better at this in the last 4 years. The first 4 years, it was sort of like hit and miss. I did it sometimes. Sometimes I got in ruts and I didn't do it as well. Even now, sometimes I get in ruts. But what I try to do is I try to concentrate on the 3 points, and my contact being the main point, and it helps me through it. Even if I have to slow down to the point of just hitting slow ground balls too short, it makes me get my bat hit out in front. I'm aggressive when I need to be, and when I'm hitting the ball well, the more aggressive I am, the better these things function. The easier they go hand in hand. When I'm real aggressive and I'm really striking out at it, the better these things really work. But when I get into a slump, or I really don't call them slumps, more what I call is you're just not doing the things you need to do. When I do get into a rut where I'm not doing the things I need to do, I'll go back to the basics even myself. And I'll go back to getting the ball, hitting it out in front, slow, just to get my timing down. Just get the bat head out. It's nice and smooth. Letting someone pitch to me, just out in front. then gradually pick my bat speed up. Over a period of time, I'm getting that explosion again. I'm starting to hit the ball where I'm supposed to be hitting it with power, and it starts to look good again. And once again, I start to feel confident in myself. You will too, and you'll feel like that you are improving, not to the point that you're so much of a better hitter, but you're going to be adding distance. You're going to be adding the type of swing that's going to be a consistent swing for distance and for power and for batting average. This is the whole idea of what I'm trying to do. So again, out in front, out here where your bat speed is great. I'm going to try to hit a few more. Again, make sure you swing at good pitches. Pitches I feel are best for me are between my thigh and my chest. Feels good to hit one in the sweet spot using a good product, and to see the results, it really makes you feel good. It's not something you'll be able to get over a period of a week or two. I've been working at this a long time, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, if he can do it, I can do it. You're exactly right. If I can, you can, but it's not something you just walk out there and start doing. Use this tape as an instruction. We've tried to make this as much of a blue collar video as possible. The reason is I wanted you to feel like maybe you were out here with me, that I'm able to show you firsthand. If I had my way, I probably would. But what it does is it's going to show you the basics to what you'll need to do to improve power in your softball swing. I'd say there's 40 million people or close playing slow pitch softball today. Hitting the ball out in front is the largest problem amongst them. And the reason is they don't take the effort. First, they don't know exactly what they're doing, and they get out and they work on things that is not going to help them if they ever perfect them anyway. So what you need to do is work on the fundamentals that are sound, that you know, that you've seen other people use, and if you choose, I'd like for you to use my technique, which I feel very comfortable with, and it has been very successful for me. If you know me or you know anything about what I've done, the world championships that I've won, you'll know that it has been successful for me. The main thing is practice. It's not something you go out and do in just a few minutes or in just a few weeks. It's something you have to work at. Let it be a conditioned response to the pitch. Not an action, but a reaction. When you see the pitch, your body knows what to do. It's not something you say, well, I know I got to stride and I know I got to do this. Well, when you first start, it will be that way. It will be to a point that you feel like that, well, I have no idea how to do this. Remember to go back to the basics, start at the beginning, and it will all fall into place. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to swing it a few more, let you take a look at some of these swings. You'll see some high pitches, some low pitches. I'll try to swing at a variety of them, making sure that they are strikes, to let you see how I address each pitch, where I'm making contact, what direction the ball is traveling when I hit it, and of course you'll see the power. You won't be able to see how far all the balls are traveling, but believe me when I tell you, you will be satisfied with the results. Ready, Mike? Sometimes I swing outside myself, find myself falling forward. If you feel that, don't feel bad about it. As long as you're good and aggressive, you're doing everything forward, not in front. If I had a good aggressive swing, it's not going to hurt you as long as I'm making contact in front of the box. I've fallen flat on my back on top of home plate and hit some of the balls as far as I've ever hit. but I made sure that I maintained all my technique is like I want it to be till after I've made contact and sometimes just stumble and fall. Don't be ashamed of really being aggressive. If I'd swung at that, I might have killed my help. That 350-foot mark out there a bit.
I wondered what he was going to do.
I can't believe it. Leave another one to him.
He stopped it.
Only Jerry. Only Jerry.
Stopped him. $5 says he runs into the wall. Stop anybody else.
Let's give him one more chance. Again?
Tell me where you can run.
Good. We got that. Do we need anything? I've really enjoyed making this instructional video, and I hope it's helped to show you the complete power swing in its basic parts. If you'll practice and have patience, I'm confident you'll improve your power and consistency. I'd like to extend a special thanks to Louisville Slugger, makers of my bat, the TPS. I've had pretty good success with my TPS, and I highly recommend it. Also, I'd like to thank Dudley, makers of the Dudley Thunder, the ball you saw me using in this tape. And as you can see, it really goes the distance. Thanks also to Andy Joel and AJD Cap Corporation for their support and their top-of-the-line caps you see me wear. Thanks to Twin Cities Knitting, Greer Recreation, and CEC Mainstay Media of Greenville, South Carolina. Don't forget, if you see me at the ballpark, come by and talk to me. I'm sure I'll have time for a few questions, or maybe just to meet you. I wish you success this season, and I hope it's your best season yet.